Hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. I'm Andy Wilson, and I'm your host today. Thank you so much for joining us. And before we get into our guest today, which we have such a phenomenal show today for you, I want to say thank you to all of you. You know, because of your viewing and sharing and listening, we are now in over 100 countries, and that's because of you. So thank you. We give you all the credit. Continue to send us that feedback to me directly on LinkedIn. I appreciate that. And also, we had just finished our 100th episode, so check that out on our website, doingbusinessinbentonville.com. Please do that. Okay, let's jump into this straight away because this is going to be such a great podcast because, as we know today, AI is everywhere. It is changing almost everything we're doing. And I will tell you, there's a company today I'm going to introduce you to that's on the forefront of AI. It's a company called AdFury. Okay. It's a company called AdFury.ai. I will tell you, you're going to have to check this out. But let's get to our guest today. Let me introduce them to you, and then we're going to get started and get deep into this. I can't wait for you to hear from our guests. So today we have Becca Shaddox. She's our Chief Operating Officer. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have you.
Congratulations on 100 countries. That's really awesome. Excited to know that we will be viewable from many, many different places.
You know, again, I just give it all the credit to our listeners and viewers because they've been so kind to us to share and move it on. And we're very, very humbled by that. So thank you, Becca. We're going to come back to Becca in just a moment and talk much more, and she's going to give you her background. My other guest today is Brandon Viveiros, or better known as BV.
Hey, Andy, thanks for having me on. And again, also congratulations on 100 episodes.
Thank you.
Countries. It's quite an accomplishment.
And you're the Chief Commercial Officer.
Yes, Chief Commerce Officer, at AdFury since March this year.
Well, congratulations to both of you. This is such a wonderful startup company, and we're going to talk about why this company is going to be so great and the services that it can provide you're going to love. So again, lean in, listen in, because I will tell you it's going to be awesome. And this company is really on the early stage of really doing significant things that can help your business. I mean, everything from really maximizing your business, the value, to have a great value proposition, which we're going to get into. You're going to love that. So much more. So Becca, you know, we've known each other for a while. I've seen you all over Northwest Arkansas, and now here you are as Chief Operating Officer of this great company. So give some folks your background and tell them quite a bit about you.
Yeah, so I, this role is super exciting because it gets me back into kind of my roots and back into technology. I have been in and around tech since I was about 6 years old. My father was a technologist as well, and my education and most of my career have been in and out of tech. So I spent 17 years at Walmart in technology. Before that, I was, doing some other, work with technology and some other companies, but really honed in for that 17 years at Walmart and learned an extremely incredible amounts of how to look at retail and tech from both business and technology standpoint. And then I moved into a boutique consulting firm to help, smaller, medium-sized companies get into solve innovative problems for businesses more at the enterprise level to help them, really grow into those roles. And then, after doing that for some time, I really wanted to get into understanding more around, the funding, buying, selling of companies. So I joined a firm, a private equity firm out of DC, and spent a good amount of time working through that piece, which is where I, spent a lot of time with Eric and JS, our co-founders. Mm-hmm. And they said, hey, why not come work for us full time? And so I was like very excited to get back into a startup. I swore I would never go back to the startup world, but this one was different. The problem they're trying to solve, the openness of what we're trying to do here was really enticing for me to get back into.
Well, I will tell you, I can't wait for you to get into the details, but we're going to do that really soon. And it sounds like you're so qualified for this And so congratulations on this role. You're just going to do great. Okay, BV, wow, man, what a career you've had.
Thank you. Like Becca, I definitely have a long background in technology as well. I could go all the way back to when I was a kid, working on a TI-99 for a computer, doing basic language programs. I don't know how many of your audience know anything about a TI-99 for a computer, but I was, a competitor to like the Commodore 64 and such back in the day. And so spending a lot of time in technology and always been interested in technology. My dad was in the United States Air Force and he was in electronics, and I always really found an interest there in tech and in electronics, and ended up joining the Air Force myself in a career field that was very technical. I worked on the equipment that launched nuclear missiles, and so it was quite a great opportunity. Then eventually learned how to teach electronics. So I was an electronics instructor in the United States Air Force as well. Then went into Nokia, and Nokia was a pioneer of cell phone technology and had a lot of the technologies that we all use today were started with Nokia, and spent a lot of time there as well. Then I went into, after Nokia, I went into the agency world and started to get really into the marketing and advertising side of technology. It's always been a technology route in the opportunities that I've had. So, working, with, cell phones, from Nokia, and then getting into, the digital production, digital execution, websites, mobile phone technology and marketing programs as well. And then went into an agency called the marketing arm and did a lot of things for sports teams and did a lot of stuff for AT&T and State Farm. Then about 12 and a half-ish years ago, I was reached out to by an agency here in Northwest Arkansas known as Saatchi and Saatchi X, which is a pioneer in the shopper marketing business.
Absolutely.
And, working very closely with P&G. So they brought me on board to execute digital programs for P&G and Coca-Cola and a lot of other brands I've had the pleasure of working with over the years. And was working there for about 12 years. And then, an opportunity came my way to get involved in startup. And, I don't know how many people can see my face, but I'm definitely in the fourth quarter of my career. And I was like, I don't know if startup is really what was going to be on my bingo card. And so, but the more I learned about what we're going to achieve here at AdFury and the opportunities that, our technology does provide and looking at the space, it got me really excited, and getting a great opportunity to work with someone like Becca and having, her experience, and then working with our co-founders, J.S. Bull and Eric Howerton, and seeing what they had done in a previous startup in a very similar way, gave me a lot of comfort, if you can have any comfort in a startup, because obviously there's a lot of things you've got to figure out. But yeah, definitely, excited about the opportunity, and again, startup was not on my bingo card.
Right. Well, I think, I said early on in the show, I said, you're gonna really enjoy these two individuals because of their experience and knowledge and their vision that they have about this new company. And let's just get into what you're going to build here. And that's going to be very exciting. But my question really to start us into this is, as we all know, the ad tech area is in a disruption. I mean, think about it. It really is. And all of you that are watching and listening, I mean, every day you're reading about AI. Every day you're reading about the change. Every day you're reading and listening about this unbelievable change. And you are experiencing that change in your business probably, and you know that you need to change your business. So with this disruption going on, I don't know if two more capable people with the experience that you have both just laid out can't get into this and tell us now what you're going to build. Okay? Tell us about the future, because that's really what I think our guests want to hear.
Yeah. So, the future is really around how do you help support the customers in their buying decision making. And, with the disruption of AI, it's how do you do that in a way and capitalize on that AI property that gives them the right information at the right time with the most relevancy. And this is now the time that we can actually, really do that better. And, starting with an AI company really just focused to help do that in essence is really exciting. I think from a standpoint of when you think about, I have a product that I want to advertise, and being able to just pick the product, get the advertising, units that you need to publish on a retail media network, and then move on and just watch those conversion rates happen. I mean, that's the purest, easiest sense. I mean, there's a lot of that goes in the back end to make that work, but that's really essentially what we're allowing either brands, agencies, marketplace sellers to be able to do. And specifically do that, to start, is on that Walmart platform.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. As a startup, we're, really trying to, create a specific MVP, using a very large retailer to prove out and make sure that all works.
Just to clarify, you're working with Walmart today, right?
Our platform is publishing to Walmart.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I want our people to know that because it's pretty serious. And I mean, you can tell, again, that they're already there with Walmart, being very successful there. So, okay.
Yeah. I would just say, from my point of view, coming from an agency like Saatchi Saatchi X, and, there are two topics that dominated the last 2 to 3 years of conversation when I was at Saatchi X. And one was retail media and the other was AI. And, one of the things that really gave me, a lot of encouragement to join AdFury was that's what we're bringing together.
Yeah.
We are enabling brands, agencies to advertise on retail media networks like Walmart.com. And, it's a complicated space to play in, and especially when you look at retailers even outside of Walmart and you start to want to grow and expand your opportunities for your brand or your product at other retailers. It's a very complicated and very time consuming and effort laden space. So, the advent of AI and the ability to use generative AI to create those assets that can work on a Walmart.com and have a level of relevancy that's going to drive performance is really the core of what we do as a company. And so I think it really hit home for me because I saw the problem on a day-to-day basis, and nobody was really solving the problem in the same way that we are approaching this problem, which is really using generative AI to drive efficiency and relevancy for display advertising. And again, initially with Walmart.com, but looking to expand beyond that.
Any more thoughts on that? Okay.
I think that's something.
That's good, isn't it? Okay, you're not in that fourth quarter. You're just getting started. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now, one of the things that these individuals have done is in their organization. The first thing you do when you're about to launch something big, and you go listen and learn. So you went to Vegas.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what it says, everything is done in Vegas stays in Vegas, but that's not what happened. I think you need to explain it to our viewers that the work you have done, how you've listened and learned, and you come back and what you're going to build, and more about what you're building. So talk about Vegas.
So I think the theory was, I'm going to back up. It wasn't, I think. The theory was that what we are doing is solving a major problem.
Yes.
And bringing BV into the fold as that industry expert was, I think a very glorious piece of vision from JS and Eric, because it gave us an insight into some things that we all didn't necessarily, there were some pieces that we didn't know. And you don't know what you don't know until you find it out. And the last thing you want to do is find it out after you've tried to launch something. So that was a brilliant piece. What we went to Vegas to do was really just kind of test out, is our theory right? And so we built a very rough MVP to demo and showcase what our thought is and what we think could solve the problems and what we got to do was really get 2 solid weeks of Vegas, right? We came home for like 3 days in between, 2 very different audiences. One from a creative, because we went to the Adobe Summit. So it was a lot of creatives, some brands, and a few retailers that we had conversations with there. And then we went to Shop Talk, which was very much brands, retail media networks, conversations. So we got to listen to, people that would actually use our system, people that would benefit from the utilization of our system and use our system. And so we got to hear that our theory was right.
Yeah.
And I don't think most people get that opportunity to do it, within so few months of really launching the company. And that really helped us come back and say, hey, we could make this even better.
Yeah, I think, even backing up, even before we went to those 2 conferences in Las Vegas back to back, just the whole move fast and break things mentality of, okay, how fast can we get up a minimal viable product that we can, put in front of some people and see, hey, are we on to something here? And so I know Eric in the early days, Eric Howerton, one of our co-founders in the early days, was really, all right, let's move fast. Let's see what we can build. And based upon that MVP and being able to have the opportunity to have, as Becca said, conversations with 2 distinct audiences, one a very creative audience at the Adobe Summit, and then again at Shop Talk with more of your brands and your retailers, and showing the creative people who came into our booth and learned more about our product and having conversations with them, and they were like, you are solving a problem that we suffer from on a day-to-day basis. The complication around retail media assets is so challenging. It's not very efficient, and we have to have a lot of people, a lot of manpower, a lot of resources put towards building all of this creative. And so for us to show our product to them and say, that's exactly what we need in order to produce our assets in a very efficient manner, was a great win for us. And then when we went to Shop Talk, it was still a lot of conversation about the efficiencies of creating the assets, and that conversation still continued. But then it was also the relevancy, right? So, one of the things about retail media is really about the performance aspect of it. It has a very performative type of aspect to it that people want to ensure that when they're running ads and they've got that closed loop measurement that shows that what they're running is working. And, to take that to a certain degree, not completely like you would do with a sponsored placement, but bring in some relevancy that gives that display ad unit, that banner ad, if you will, give it an opportunity to resonate with a potential customer, and show that ad could work very relevantly to that customer, was also another win. Now, coming out of that, taking the feedback, we felt like there was some opportunity to work on our UX and streamline some of the functionality to make it even more efficient in the way that the creative gets built, and then also set that platform up in order to expand upon that as we look at other retail media networks and also other ad formats. Right now, we're just doing static banner ad type of media, but we have video on our roadmap, and that is going to be a fast follow to our next version of our product, to have video, and whether that's sponsored brand videos on Walmart.com, or if we're getting into the connected TV space, or maybe even using these assets through social channels. Like, that is the vision of this platform, is not just static display ads, which is obviously a big problem and one that we're facing and we're fixing. But okay, let's do video. So we're definitely using AI to kind of expand upon what we're going to do and continue to build upon our offering.
Wonderful. Okay, so Vegas was helpful.
It was extremely helpful.
And
it was a team building, actually.
Yeah.
So Becca and I never worked together.
Oh, yeah.
And we, 3 weeks?
Yeah, I was like on board for like 2 weeks, and then we were at our first.
We were in Vegas.
We were in Vegas, and so like we had a great opportunity to work together and learn about each other and build relationship.
Wonderful. And I do want to get into the value proposition a bit more, but a question I have, okay, most people they don't build this company in Northwest Arkansas,
Right.
right? But here you are.
Mm.
So why Northwest Arkansas?
I mean-
What competitive advantages does that give you? Or from a knowledge, efficiency, all of that, from the optimization of all that. Why here?
Yeah. I mean, being in the backyard at Walmart is, hands down, such a great environment to build. You have not an easy pilot, but I mean, it's easier access. But, this is really the retail mecca of the world, right? I mean, Fortune 1 company sits in our backyard. The number of brands and agencies that are here, the number of
Hundreds.
It's, and they're moving here in droves, right? So, I mean, the access we have to our clients and customers, the access that we have to, a large retail network to pilot with, and really get our feet really soaked. And I don't think you can get a better place than trying to build a company in the retail space here.
Right.
I also say that, the technology talent that we have here and the technology talent that is moving here because of the ability to have such a great work-life cohesion is really starting to, I think, tip from, being a coastal place to more of an inner country and more in the heartland. So it's a really great place because there's a lot that's happening here.
Well, and, it's great to have a company that's now profitable and very successful in this space. And, I was recently in a meeting with Walmart and Doug talked about, they're profitable now in this space. They're continuing to invest in this space. And so I think what our viewers need to really grab a hold of, AdFury is being built, tested in one of the best places in the world. And you're already working with the largest retailer in the world. So it gives you so much credibility. And you're able to get to learn and grow from some of the, again, the smartest people with in this space. So wonderful. This is so exciting. I'm so proud of you. It's going to be such a great company, and I know you're going to do great things. Let's spend a moment around the value proposition for a moment, because when I was reading your value proposition and thinking deeply about it, I mean, you said some wonderful things here, and I think our viewers need to understand your focus and and you can speak with this. But there's 3 things I want to just talk about, and you please speak to it. But in your value proposition, you talk about you're going to really emphasize efficiency. You're going to emphasize brand consistency and performance optimization. That's huge. I don't know who's not looking for that.
Right.
Okay. So talk about how you're going to do that and some of your thoughts around those 3 points.
Yeah. So I think, it starts with our AdFury AI engine, that we have. And so like the vision really is, from a product standpoint, is like whatever creative platform you prefer to use, whatever your brand is and any of your brand guidelines that you have, you bring that in. You bring in any of the data and information you can from the retailer, and then our AI engine, using multiple different generative AI models in different ways, will take all of that information and export and produce creative ads that will work specifically for the targeting strategy that you are looking to implement. And so we talk about making that process as easy as possible. We want a single click of, if we already have that information, it produces those ads and produces them at scale. And so that's that is the core. Like bring in all of this information. You do it one time, and then our platform will build the ads, right? Then from there, because we understand your targeting strategy, and as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be building ads that have high relevancy to your specific audience. We believe that our ads will perform well, and that will be a feedback loop into our engine that we will continue to learn from. So that's one of the great things about AI, is the ability for it to conduct machine learning And we will be collecting data across a lot of the campaigns that we run specifically for each of the brands. And that data will be maintained specifically for that brand, so it won't be shared broadly, because we do take privacy, data privacy, it's very important to us as well. So, we have that feedback loop. And so the next time that you go to generate ads, create ads, we already have learned something, and we can help you create those ads the next time and do that in a more efficient way. So it is a feedback loop. It is a continual loop in order to drive more efficiency and ultimately effectiveness for any of your ad campaigns. And again, we talked about display, but we'll also be implementing that for video as well.
All right. Good.
And I think that the scale piece is also a big value prop, because where the time it takes to do one targeting or one version of ads, we can do many.
Yes.
I mean, more than you could probably ever want to spend money on, using your ad dollars for, but it really does allow you to create those different versions so quickly.
Yeah, it gives us a test and learn engine, right? So you can test multiple ad versions, learn from that, cut out the ones that you don't want to run with, and continue with the ones that you do, and then learn so that when you start for the next ad set, you already have that data.
And so that's a value proposition for our customers that are using and in our platform. We also have another value proposition for our events, so the retail media networks, because with the utilization of AdFury to connect into the advertising dollars, they're going to be able to advertise more. They're going to be able to use their budgets better. They're going to be able to have more relevancy, which creates revenue for the retail media networks, but also creates that customer loyalty, because they know what they're going to get there, and it's they're going to serve up and be able to purchase things based off of and conversion based off of relevant things that they want to see. So not only do we help the user or our system get the value out of it, we also help retail media networks. And then when you think about the utilization of multiple retail media networks, so how many companies are actually not just advertising this product on Walmart, but they're actually doing something in other retail media networks. Well, what if you could use one system to do all, right? Which is a huge piece of what, I'm sure we'll talk a little bit about the future, but that's really kind of as a highlight of what we're going to do to really tie it all together.
Yeah, that's actually such a good point, Becca, because, we're lowering the barrier of entry for some smaller brands that may not have a creative team and, are already investing in it, in let's say sponsored placements, and they want to get into display, but maybe it's a little bit too intimidating because they've got to create all of these different ad units, and they don't have a creative team, or they're, with freelance resources. This can allow them also to get as a step into getting into display advertising on Walmart.com specifically as well. And so, we're bringing value to them from an advertising perspective. And obviously, Walmart is benefiting from that by getting new entrants into their display advertising as well.
So this is exciting. I began, when I started talked about, this disruption that's taking place in this market, but you are addressing that. You're addressing that disruption with clarity, with efficiency, and ultimately, what you talked about, Leader VP, is that the power of how that they can be so productive. These organizations can with their ads, and the way. So you really have Vegas is really good for you guys, because you really was. You really did listen well, and you came back and you addressed those issues. So now, as I got another question later, but I know our viewers are saying, how do we get a hold of these guys? How do we find them? So how do they find you guys?
Well, you can read BV at AdFury.ai or Becca at AdFury.ai, or you can go to AdFury.ai on your web browser.
Okay.
And, there's, you can email us. there's a contact us, apply for, to be a part of the platform as well.
And they got a great team. I was in their office recently, and I'm telling you, people,
Great.
they're just like brilliant over there, and they're working hard. They're passionate about what they're doing. You can tell, my guys, two great leaders. So as we wrap and you close this out for our viewers, what final words or thoughts you want to share in this space as you talked about? Why they, whatever.
As I mentioned earlier, the two main topics in our space is retail media and AI. And, we are fully committed to ensuring that, brands, agencies, marketplace sellers have an opportunity to win in retail media. And, our AI engine is one that can help them with their advertising and advertising needs. But I ultimately see even a bigger opportunity for AdFury in the future. I think, as retail media continues to grow, as AI continues to grow, I think there are a lot of companies out there that are still trying to figure out, how do I implement AI into my organization?
Right.
Even if they're a brand working in retail, like how do I implement AI? And I think, a lot of the learnings that we are taking away, because we are an AI company from the ground up. We weren't another platform and said, we're going to add AI in.
That's a great point. That's a great point.
We were born in AI, and all the tools that we use are generative AI tools. And so it's like a core of the work we do. And we spend a lot of time mapping out workflows and how things go from point A to point B, and different types of databases that we're going to be using in order to inform. So we are also getting an education as we're building this company, and also trying to be the experts in this category at the same time. And so that is just also going to continue to grow as this company grows as well. So I see a lot of opportunity for us, and a lot of opportunity that we can bring to everyone.
Correct.
I think that I was actually with our dev team this morning, and they're so excited to build something so incredibly insightful and, really utilize AI in the way that it's intended to create, actionable, movement. So not only can you just use our tool to do what you think you need to do, but our tool will actually help you prompt what things come next. Like, how does it anticipate everything that you may need? And that is really exciting. And the team is, every time we're like, okay, can we do this? Is this possible? So anything is possible. We never get a, we can't do that. It is, everything is possible. Just how do we want to make sure it works? And so that's been a really exciting piece, is that we have the talent and the growth. As we continue to deliver more on, the Walmart piece and bring on other retail media networks and bring on more clients, we will continue to, open up our career paths and, hire new people. You can follow us on LinkedIn. We will always use that as a great place to share information about what we're doing, and, how you can connect with us. And also, as we continue to grow, how do you get, engaged to help support that growth?
Yeah. Okay. It's exciting, isn't it? I told you at the beginning of the show, you were going to fall in love with these two individuals because they're so passionate about what they do. This team that she talked about, they're great people, they're great skills, have a lot of capacity. But these two leaders, they're ready for this. They've done that. They have done wonderful things. And now what they're about to do is going to be amazing. And I would tell you, I would run to AdFury if I were you, because it's fresh, it's new, and it's the opportunity is endless. And so you have your answer to disruption. Here it is. Get a hold of them, talk to them, let them guide you through your mission and what you want to accomplish, and let them work with you. And I tell you, I think what you said, that you began as an AI company, I think that is so, I want to underline that one more time.
Yeah.
You two are just great, and it's so good to have you on. You have to come back soon.
Yes.
Okay, because I want to know what you're doing. I mean, like I want to break in over there and just go listen in a meeting or something. But I want you to come back and share with our audience, our viewers, what you're doing, because we're so interested in the future, and you are in that space in the future, and you're shaping that future today. There's not a lot of people can do that.
I have to pinch myself every day.
I mean, it's so right. So, and I can't think about when I, we both at Walmart, but when I joined Walmart, we had 100 stores, and Sam Walton would get up and talk to us about his vision, and I would like, we're going to 500, we're going to 1,000 super center. Right. I remember that, and I would like, I loved retail, and I loved the space, and I was like, oh my goodness, what a ride!
Right.
That's what you're developing. You are developing such a phenomenal company for the future that's going to help our viewers and get how they learn to grow their business, how they go to maximize efficiency in their business, and that's what we all want, right? To be better and greater. And you're doing that, so thank you.
Yeah. No,
it's so great. Okay, you're coming back, right?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, we'll definitely have a lot more to talk about next time. There's the technology is advancing very, very quickly, and we're staying on top of that. And I think the next conversation we have, there'll be a lot to talk about, because as it's said commonly in this generative AI space, like today is the worst that the technology will ever be, right? And so we're going to continue to roll that and advance that in our space specifically.
It's good.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Vivi. Thank you, Becca. Thank you. It's wonderful. To our guests and viewers, thank you so much for viewing and joining us. Again, as I said at the top of the show, thank you. Thank you for taking us where we're going. And our future is really bright here at Doing Business in Bentonville. And one reason it's bright because we can have people like this, and we'll have so much more. So don't forget to share it, and we appreciate it. Again, thanks to our guests. Everyone have a wonderful day. I'm Andy Wilson. Thank you. Goodbye.